Welcome to Go Home Heat, a sports entertainment podcast. We're going to be talking Raw and Smackdown. We're going to do things a little differently this week. We're going to separate NXT to try to make this more palatable for your time allotment. That way you can listen to exactly what you want to hear if you want to dial in, and we can get you hopefully in shorter sets. We have the Go Home Heat Kid Ray here. We have Jushin Thunderbrain. Ready to go.
Still here.
Yes. Highlights of Randy Orton start out a week of Raw. Then Drew says he is a dragon or something like that.
He's the walrus. Cuckoo.
Yes. Retribution hits the truck. As after this, Drew tries to settle down a very animated locker room.
Nothing intimidates me more than seeing sound guys and directors get intimidated.
If you control the airwaves, you control the world.
Yes. Is this, what was that movie with Christian Slater where he ran the pirate radio station?
Pump Up the Volume?
Pump Up the Volume.
No, it's more like the rock band that infiltrates the radio station with, what's his name, he did all those really bad movies and then wound up.
Oh, God.
Then he wound up getting that movie with The Rock, and that made him a star for a little bit.
Oh, are you talking about, the one with Brendan Fraser.
Airheads?
Airheads, yeah. Brendan Fraser, Adam Sandler, Steve Buscemi. Joe Montana is the DJ.
And you thought 3MB was a weird band.
Yes. The Lone Rangers.
Right?
You can't be the Lone Rangers. What? There's three of you. You're not exactly alone. I understand what you're saying.
Oh,
that movie's classic. Go do yourself a favor and waste an hour and a half of your time watching Airheads.
Yes, or waste just 20 minutes and then let it go. Okay, and so anyway, as we said, Drew is settling down the locker room, in which case Seth approaches, and Ricochet and Cedric needle Seth a bit, and Seth points out that he can protect those around him, and Drew could not protect Ric Flair.
Why would Drew protect Ric Flair? Ric Flair has been actively working for Randy Orton to bushwhack, and he hit Christian with the low blow.
Set it up.
To set up him getting his head kicked off. I mean,
you say that, but I've just listened to multiple people talk about how Drew and Rick, and they loved it, and this. That's what they did there.
Yeah. But Rick was actively supporting the guy who was going around like murdering people.
Well, hey. Okay. MVP
just
is
saying.
Yes.
Logical consistency.
Yes. MVP is now in the ring and lets us know that Apollo Crews is with Retribution. If you haven't noticed, when Retribution has attacked around MVP, it has been to Apollo Crews' advantage, and he and his merry band.
Y'all need to be listening to MVP's trying to tell y'all some truth here.
Ricochet and dude, I was hoping this faction was Apollo, Ricochet,
Mustafa Ali, and Cedric Alexander.
Absolutely, but that's not who it is. Evidently.
No,
but anyway,
because there's like 40 of them.
Yeah, and they're all tall. Now. Okay, enter Apollo.
It's like the Foot Clan.
Apollo says that he fights hard. Okay, he goes for what is his, and it's business, let's do business. If I beat you, your crew can't. If I beat Sheldon, your crew can't hang out at ringside during our match. So we get Sheldon Benjamin versus Apollo Crews. It's basically 3-on-1 until Cedric, Alexander, and Ricochet show up, and Ali. And it took all three of them to clear the ring. And then R-Truth, then we wound up getting a match in which R-Truth, for whatever reason, runs through the ring as he's trying to escape Akira Tozawa's ninja clan.
Mm-hmm.
And he winds up getting Sheldon.
Distract Sheldon.
But Sheldon clotheslines him first,
yeah.
Which leads to a roll-up outside of the ring, which leads to 24/7 title change.
Yeah, but that happens after he's already lost the match, doesn't it?
Is that how that worked? Okay,
yeah.
Good. And then, so
Apollo Crews hit the roll up on Shelton Benjamin, and
infuriating Sheldon. Sheldon goes outside the ring.
Truth came running back down to the ring and ate a clothesline. He'd left and came back again, still running from ninjas.
A lot.
But it was busy.
It was a lot. Now we got Garza tries to be, but the point of this was
There was a point.
MVP's on his own against Apollo Crews.
Yes, because that's the match I certainly wanted to see. MVP wrestling.
Yes.
I've got Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin
in
this faction.
It's a degree of difficulty weekend.
Yes.
We have multiple degree of difficulty matches this weekend.
I think that's... Of the degree of difficulties, though, that is the least degree of difficulty. Because MVP can at least...
starting to kind of...
He's not...
Right.
He's no Pat McAfee. And he's no...
We don't know.
Ray...
We haven't seen Pat
Ray's
McAfee.
kid, but Ray's kid, Dominic, actually, man, I'm going to give him credit.
Looks like it. Okay. Garza tries to be sweet to random famous girl backstage.
I didn't know who this was. My girlfriend had to tell me it was somebody. I'm getting old.
Yes. He asked her out. Ivar asked her out on a date to the underground, which, of course, you would ask random famous girl to go to you to a fight club.
If you're Ivar.
Yes. And she accepts.
Well, of course.
Garza.
Because he's Ivar.
Garza, in a jealous rage, throws the turkey leg, which Ivar has given said famous girl, to the ground. This may sound silly to you.
Well, that wasn't silly. What might be silly is when he did the Thor hammer call with the turkey leg and brought it back to his hand.
The fact that he was willing to give
her the turkey leg, the bill of ground. I have no clue.
How do you say that word?
I have no
the
idea.
Thor's hammer is Mjolnir?
Mjolnir?
Mjolnir. That's what his turkey leg is, right? Yeah. Mjolnir. So yes. He gave his Mjolnir over to said famous woman.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, it's match time. Garza versus Ivar. 6 minutes of fury here.
Mm-hmm.
Good little match. Andrade winds up interfering in the match. Garza, as you said, how did he win this thing?
He got him with a drop kick while Ivar was on the ground, which I get. I can't hit him in the wing clipper because there's no way he gets that. I don't think. They probably tried it a couple times. I don't think the bodies work correctly for that.
Right.
But so he had to beat him with something. But it was a drop kick to the head. He needs he's work on a strike finisher, something he can hit on everybody.
Or submission, just anything else.
Yeah, you got to have something else in your toolbox. This is why AJ Styles has 3 or 4 finishers.
Right, of course. Because first of all, you're not tall enough to do things to certain people. You're not
unless you've got Randy Orton was smart because the RKO. He can RKO anybody.
Right. That's why the stunner's a good finisher.
That's why the stunner's a good finisher.
If you can do it to stomp.
The stomp's a good finisher.
I don't have to pick you up.
No, it's not based on that.
Right. Okay, and so then Garza winds up going over, like we said.
But then the video, Dawkins and
correct
the chick from The Bachelor, apparently that's what she was on.
Said famous woman.
The famous person.
Dawkins said famous woman. Dawkins has footage. Samoa Joe understands he's already seen the footage.
Yes, Samoa Joe is
due to the fact that we have Retribution. The WWE have looked at a lot of footage that they normally don't bother to review, and they found what they didn't seem to. Luckily, Retribution had them find a crime.
Yes.
Instead of looking for the crime, they accidentally found the crime.
Another crime.
And so we wind up seeing footage of
attempted murder.
Of Zelina attempting to poison. Actually, she did poison him. Luckily, he didn't die.
That's technically assault with a deadly weapon.
Correct. And
attempted murder, probably.
Yes. It was my goodness.
What am I guilty of? Having a great coat? That was my favorite line. That's my favorite line.
Oh, my God. And so we wind up with Zelina Andrade, Angel, Montez, Charlie. They review the film like we just said. Montez.
It appears Selena Vega shows her around his solo cup.
With her fantastic jacket.
Yeah. Which he has left an open cup just laying around in the back.
Yes. And Montez jumps them. He's back. He's sober.
Yes.
Not sober. He's less poisoned. Okay.
His eyes can tell you the stories.
Yes, they do, though.
That dude went on a vision quest.
They do. His eyes do tell the stories big time. He is able to express a lot of emotion with his face. Okay, anyway, we'll move on. That'll come up later anyway. So, then Then we have a match next.
Did we?
A long-awaited return of Mickie James to Monday Night Raw gets the. They put her in the ring with Natalya, who has Lana as her manager. This is the return a legend deserves.
Yes.
As this match happens, Seth Rollins, because Seth watches the show, he realizes that Joe is the investigative reporter we thought he was.
Yes. I've always thought, if they don't have a spinoff show of Joe solving mysteries, how you've lost the boat on that, I don't understand.
And so Seth says, Joe, you tell me how you know that Rey Mysterio is actually here.
Who's your source?
Yes, and that carries through the match.
I really like a good diatribe on journalistic integrity. That was right in the middle of my wrestling match.
And Joe says he will never reveal his source. And Seth says he's going to end Rey and Dom if they show up. And somewhere in there, Mickie loses on a countout.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That happened. There was apparently a match going on, Kevin. Did you know?
However, I don't think we're done with this program because Mickie winds up kicking Lana upside the head.
Yes.
Outside the ring. So I'm guessing that they were doing two things here, and this is a stretch. One, I have no idea why you bring Seth out. I mean, you know me, I'm Seth Mark, but this made no sense whatsoever.
The timing.
Just for him talking during a match where you have somebody that...
Why? How do you know Rey is here?
Right.
Well, he probably tweeted about it or something.
Yeah, but the only thing I can think, and this is crazy, is somebody in the back thought everybody wants to see Mickie, so let's send our heel out there to get him even more heat. And that's just crazy. Because why can't I watch this match?
It was a good match, actually. There was some good stuff that went on a really quick basis if you were actually paying attention.
The other thing is, I think that they want this match at Payback. So this was not ever supposed to have a finish because it's going to wind up being...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so...
It's just poorly done.
I just wouldn't have even had a match in this. Then I would have had a segment where they get into it even more than they did last week backstage and then go into it. But I'm not the boss, so we'll go with this. Bayley and Sasha run their mouths a little bit. They mention Asuka and Kyrie. Shayna comes out, and she's whooping the victory. She's whooping the victor of these matches. Asuka comes out and lets us know the plan is to fight against them.
You got to fight with me before you can fight me.
Right. Fight against them with you, and then fight you. And that's good, because that's what we're getting. Shayna and Asuka versus Bayley and Sasha.
This is like the Brothers of Destruction right here. If you teamed up Asuka and Shayna Baszler, you almost can't do it, because how are you going to justify them losing hardly? It's
almost like a women's version of the Gold Rush versus the Brothers of Destruction.
Yes.
It's almost like Hunter and Stone Cold when they went heel versus
Kane and The Undertaker.
Yeah. During this match, Nia breaks the glass, attacking Shayna, and they fight over the top.
They fight out up the ramp and out.
They fought over the man in the pink suit that has been a heel in Nia Jax's side for no reason. Yeah,
well, I don't know why this dude exists.
Well, he exists for Nia to beat him up every week.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Then we have a good little match. Baszler kicks out of a backstabber.
Well, Baszler comes back after Asuka gets isolated. They have a great match for a while.
She kicked out. That's a pretty strong booking now. She kicks out of a backstabber and Bayley to belly combo.
Yeah, she did.
That's pretty strong booking for Baszler. It ends with Sasha. This is actually a really good episode for Baszler.
Yeah.
It ends with Sasha tapping to Asuka on the floor while Bayley is tapping in the ring.
Yeah.
Which is, like you said, destructive.
Well, and it sets you up too, because I'm hoping that Asuka takes both belts on Sunday, and then that sets you up for maybe even at Payback. Hey, I'll get Shayna Baszler. We already beat you once for non-title. Shouldn't we be the ones to get the title shot again? Because they've got to defend them at that pay-per-view.
I wouldn't mind I know this is awful. Well, we'll get there. But yes, I absolutely would like to see Asuka have every belt in the company for even if it's just for a minute.
Just for a minute.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be long. I'm not saying you should keep that. That's not good booking either for a long period of time.
It can even be one night.
It can be one night and have her like lose one belt to Baszler the next night or something like that.
What if at Payback you did Asuka versus Shayna after Asuka and Shayna versus...
And win after they win the tag team championships, they fight each other.
For Asuka's belt. Asuka walks in with 2, wins the 3rd, and then before the night's over, loses one of those.
I think, I'm fine with that.
You know what I mean? Which would be... It would bring a lot of things into play.
Yeah, and it's only 2 matches.
Right.
You can get a lot done with 2 matches.
Absolutely.
On a throwaway pay-per-view, that's 2 great matches.
Absolutely. And a lot of storytelling involved, too. That just takes care of itself.
And Sasha and Bayley can really discombobulate, and now you've got that program to run.
And they can fight each other.
Yes.
But you probably take that on down the road a ways. But anyway, then we get a Seth Dom video package, and then a backstage. Cedric doesn't get to play in the match because Apollo picks Ricochet and Ali.
Mm-hmm.
To help him, and Cedric is upset, which is setting up more discontent in our little group that is not quite a faction yet, but they're buddies. Randy stalks alone backstage, which is weird because that's Batista's thing to walk alone.
I walk alone.
Yes, okay.
With my belly button painted.
Sean and Drew let us know how close they are. I'd never heard Shawn Michaels and Drew Matt. There's a couple things about this episode. You pointed one out earlier. You had the Ric Flair. Drew is so close to him. He's giving medical updates of what's going on. The fact that they went to Drew to ask about a medical update, right?
It's my same problem with the whole Rey Mysterio, who Aleister Black obviously has looked up to for his whole career. And I'm like, what?
Right.
That happened last week or something?
Yeah. I mean, not that it's terrible, but it just doesn't make sense, right?
Dude, it's just...
And right here...
shoehorning things into things.
They tell us Shawn Michaels... And Drew says, you told me... You helped me when I came back, when I was in NXT. You did these things for me.
Now that I can buy...
And I'm not saying it's not true.
Yeah.
Right. It's just amazing that we just found that out.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't they... Obviously, they didn't know Shawn was going to be available on Monday night.
Mm-mm.
Or they would have alluded to this somewhere in the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But and I do believe... I don't disbelieve it. We'll put it that way.
No. But it's just you brought it up at a very opportune moment, and it seems... Well, and come on, dude. As soon as you saw Shawn Michaels was going to be on the show, you knew it was going to happen.
Right. Right.
I almost wish that Drew McIntyre had played this whole thing differently and had been like kind of really cool with Shawn and everything, but the whole plan was like as soon as Randy came in there to hit the RKO on Shawn, Drew came out of nowhere himself and like cuts his head off with a claymore and is like, if you really want to catch a predator, you hit them when they're hunting.
Right.
I let Shawn come out here.
Or even have...
That's the staking. That's like the GOAT in...
Or if you want to play their buddies, have Shawn smile at him.
Uh-huh.
Shawn's like this, and Drew comes, kicks right over Shawn's shoulder.
Uh-huh.
Hits old boy upside the head, and, Shawn rolls out of the ring laughing.
Yeah.
Maybe does a DX chop on the way out the door.
Saw that coming.
Right. So anyway, Peyton will be replacing Billy Kay against Ruby, and we get Baszler MMA buddies are in the house, which when I saw this, I thought immediately, a couple weeks ago, I thought immediately, hey,
this is perfect for them.
Let's get these people involved, and they're going to do that, which is great. Ruby versus Peyton. Ruby does well here. Billy does a little distraction. Peyton pushes Ruby into Liv. Peyton takes Ruby into the ring and hits the Deja Vu, which I, as you all know, call the Superior Crossroads.
Yes.
It's time for Raw Underground. Eric versus a blonde kid, and he roughs the blonde kid up pretty good.
Uh-huh.
Eric goes over, then Dolph gets challenged.
Dolph rates his win 4 out of 10.
Yes, that's right. Then Dolph with the violent performance, sleeper, thumb to the eye. Oh, dude. This whole thing, dude, Dolph and Eric were, up until the thumb to the eye, I didn't really care about the thumb to the eye because that was kind of almost like a pro wrestling thing.
Yeah.
And I get what they were trying to do. But the parts where I got to see Dolph
Wrestle.
and Eric really tried to establish Dolph, like they were really going at it.
Yeah.
Like they weren't trying to hurt each other. But
but they were rolling. They were rolling with each other.
Just like you would see at a wrestling practice.
Well, or at a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practice, or an MMA practice.
And they were trying to get the better of each other.
Yeah, you were trying to get a superior position and stuff. You can do that stuff. You add a little bit of intensity to it, and it looks really good.
It was great.
Yeah, it was.
It was great. Okay, Mysterio and Dom go to the ring.
Wait. Didn't they?
He gets the sleeper thumb to the eye for the win.
Didn't they? Riddick Moss and Ruiz fight?
Was that next, or was that in the next segment?
I don't know.
We can talk about it now.
Yeah. The Ruiz Riddick Moss fight was awesome, too.
Dude, Riddick Moss is more legitimate seeming than I thought. This has been a good show for him as well. And for Ruiz.
Well, Ruiz, I saw him when he first debuted, and I was like, dude, this guy is just, he's like, he reminds me of Steve Blackman.
Right. And
he's got that intensity.
Correct me if I'm wrong, he had his ankles wrapped and he had the white pants on.
Yeah, so he had gi pants on.
When he did the swinging kicks.
Yeah, the capoeira that
popped for your eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a different way than it does in the underground.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, this was good. That was good. That was really good. And they fought to... that
was kind of they end up getting in the crowd.
They roll out of the ring and Shane splits them up and tells them that was freaking awesome.
Yeah, they were starting hitting people in the crowd who were like pushing them and stuff. So, yeah.
And it was freaking awesome.
It was.
Shane is good in this environment.
Yeah, he is.
It's funny. There's a rumor that he's getting Raw.
I would not mind that. If he gets to actually write stuff. And he's on one of the few... I don't know if he's one of the few people probably who can tell his dad.
I would like it as long as they say you're in charge unless you want to be on screen.
Yeah.
If you want to be on screen, I got to have somebody else writing the show.
Yeah.
Now, Rey Mysterio and Dominic enter the ring. Rey has been in pain. He was helpless as Murphy and Seth beat Dominic down. Rey should have taken that beating for his son. Rey won't be stopped again. Rey will be in Dominic's corner when they have the fight, and Dominic will be ready. You have no idea how proud I am of you, Rey tells his son. Rey calls out Seth. Seth answers and points out how selfish Rey is and what a bad father.
This is like a telenovela. I love it. He's not Goku bad, but he's not a good dad. He's
and the son, Dom, leaves the ring as Rey challenges Seth to come down with his buddy because Dom is selling the legitimate injuries he has from the beating he took the week before. But this is a trap because Dom has 2 kendo sticks hidden behind the barricade, and Seth walks right into it, arrogance being what it is, and they wind up getting beaten up pretty good, and they run away. And so now it is a street fight or some type of no-holds-barred thing with Rey in the corner of Dom.
But since it's a no disqualification, that means it's just...
Well, Buddy was going to be in the match anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like... But by the same token, it does give Seth a little bit more to paint with having Rey around.
Yeah, it does. That's my point right there. He's lessened his degree of difficulty by adding Rey to the match. I think
Adam Cole's
got the
degree of difficulty win here
right now.
Right.
We'll have to see though.
Right.
We'll have to see. Maybe Pat McAfee comes out there and he's like doing hurricane radas and stuff.
He could be coordinated.
Oh yeah, he is a punter after all.
Correct. MVP and Cedric. MVP is here to help. Cedric is of course dejected after being told he will not be the other partner. And MVP gives him the old... It was really wonderful what MVP did for him here. He said, at least it wasn't my friends that were holding me back. They knew you were the weakest link. Think it over while you're enjoying that fine cuisine and catering. And I love how MVP constantly refers to catering.
Yeah, is where
The people who don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The other day on Busted Open Radio, Bubba Ray said that the guys in this new faction need to start spray painting. I can't remember it. See, creative has nothing for you. So CH, creative has CHN U. CHNU. Because that's what you see if you go to work and you look at the list of people to be done. It says, you go meet with Seth, Dom, Ray, meet with whoever's working their program with them, right? And then the other names, it says those initials. Creative has nothing for you.
That should be the name of their faction, not Retribution.
He said he just said they should, instead of spray painting the W with the line through it, they should spray paint that on everything.
Yes.
Because that's who they are.
Yeah.
They're the people that Creative has nothing for. And I thought that's pretty smart. Right? But then we go back to the Underground. This is the Arturo fight we spoke of earlier, and that turns into That Was Sick, Who's Next, right?
Yeah.
And Cedric's not. Then we go back. Cedric's not here. MVP Lashley versus Ali Apollo and Ricochet. And we wind up getting great stuff in here. All these guys are really tremendous athletes. It's 1-on-3 for a little bit. Then it's 1-on-2 for a little bit. Apollo trying to keep it all going. But he does wind up beating MVP. And no. Apollo beats MVP. And then Lashley jumps him. And it's 1-on-1. Lashley does put him away. And I thought this was pretty good. It showed Apollo's will to win. It showcases Lashley. It showcases how... I would have liked a little better for Ali and Ricochet, but, I mean, let's face it. The story we're telling right now is Apollo, not them. And if they're going to be his buddies, they couldn't be. In the middle of all this mess, Cedric does wind up getting the 24/7 title by rolling up Shelton. And then... So then we have a thing where Shane winds up talking to Baszler's crew, her version of 4 Horsewomen, or 3 out of 4, and they're going to be at Underground in a minute or two. Then we have a match with Akira with ninjas on the side against Cedric in some form of a 24/7 thing. Cedric wins. Ninja's not being able to help here is kind of strange. As he's about to get the title, Shelton Benjamin hits him with his finisher. 1, 2, 3. Shelton Benjamin is again
the 24/7 champion.
I think we've had 17 title changes in this episode.
Wow.
Okay. Then we get to the Underground. And Marina Shriver whoops up. Shavir? Yeah. I'm sorry. Shriver is somebody totally else.
Mary Shriver is a newscaster.
She was Arnold Schwarzenegger's ex-wife.
Yes.
Or she is the ex-wife. She was his wife. Okay. Anyway, she's a Kennedy.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah, okay. Then Nia winds up jumping both Baszler's buddies, to which Baszler, of course, Baszler wants to fight. They get there, they look at each other, and then Nia
don't want none.
Left. Heelish. Did you like this segment?
I've liked the Underground stuff. I
You wish they would have fought, but you get it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. I wish they would have fought, but I get it. You know what I mean? We're pushing this off. Montez Ford versus Andrade. This is great stuff to be so short. Ford is he's just a star. But the marquee moment is when Bianca Belair is outside and Zelina tries to do a crossbody on her, and we get the world's strongest slam.
Yes.
From Bianca Belair. And if you don't know, Mark Henry is the one who introduced Bianca Belair to the WWE. And I heard Mark Henry on that same episode of Busted Open say, if she wants it, she can have it. If she's willing to put my move on television every week, she can have it. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it looked good on her.
Yeah. And she can do it.
Absolutely.
I don't know if there's anybody in the WWE. I mean, I think she can do that on Nia Jax.
Right. Now,
because she's got that kind of lower body strength and back strength that would take to hold her in position.
But even if she can't do it on Nia, that's one.
Yeah. I think she can get an eye with that.
Right, but even if that's only one out of the entire company, you know what I mean? And she can do it on 2/3 of the guys in the company.
Yeah, she can.
Like, if Andrade jumps at her like that, she can do that to Andrade.
Uh-huh.
No problem.
That'd be hilarious.
Be awesome. Okay, anyway, so then Andrade winds up getting distracted and Ford gets the roll up, and we have hyped this program. I mean, if there's any more reason to want to avenge somebody,
yes,
they poisoned you.
Yes.
So by golly, you're going to want to defend your title.
Uh-huh. And not press charges.
20 minutes away from death. That's how mad I am.
Yeah.
Okay. HBK is going to the ring, and he's going to chew Randy Orton a good one and show him what for.
He's going to get kicked in the head.
He implies that Randy's going to get his one way or the other for what he did to Rick, whether it's a super kick or a Claymore, which was interesting to me.
Uh-huh.
Then he turns around and does get RKO'd. We'll talk about the other stuff at the end. He does get RKO'd. He gets punt kicked. Drew comes out. They get into it.
Him and Randy.
Yes. And
Randy goes for the RKO on him one time. He catches him. They get in a fight. Randy outside. He doesn't finish the job. Goes back to check on Rick. Then Randy hits him with the RKO.
Right. And so the champ is laid out, and Shawn is crawling to the champ to see if he's okay after the champ had run to the side to see if Shawn was okay.
After Shawn ate both the RKO and the punt kick.
He's still the Heartbreak Kid.
He is. Randy needs to get the heck over it.
Now let's talk about something that ain't blatant show. Internet goes wild because Shawn just got RKO'd and kicked in the head and is crawling around. The next day,
he was standing up.
Yes, stumbling though.
Stumbling, but he was standing up.
Right. Bubba Ray Dudley had a fit that Shawn Michaels did not put him over. Nobody could figure out why he didn't put him over. And then somebody finally said, well, Randy said that he watched an NXT match, Gargano and Cole, or Gargano and somebody else, and the match was a joke because all they do is slap their hips and blah, blah, blah. Shawn was the booker for that match.
Mm-hmm.
Shawn wrote that match.
Uh-huh.
Shawn's favorite wrestler is Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Adam Cole is a leg slapper.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels was a leg slapper.
Damn Skippy.
His super kicks were awesome, but he slapped his leg every time.
Well, because to get that sound, you can't. If you
That's
kick
not the
somebody
noise.
in the head for real, the sound it makes is like a wet thump.
Yes.
It doesn't make a cool crack sound.
Right.
Unless sometimes you'll get something cool like that if you catch the chin with the shin or something like that. But
Right.
most of the time, when you really nail it sounds like somebody, hitting a sack of oranges.
To create the sound without breaking a jaw, it requires a leg slap.
Yes.
Okay. Now, here we go. Randy has been accused on and off the screen of never having put anyone over.
Because he hasn't.
Randy off the screen on his own Twitter feed is burying the NXT product, which Shawn works at, his best friend created, and his favorite wrestlers work at. He's also burying modern wrestling all the time with the Young Bucks, guys like that. Shawn is said to be a big fan of modern wrestling.
Well, yeah.
A lot of people think that is because Shawn was fighting for something similar to this style of wrestling his entire career.
Yes.
And early on, people fought him on it.
Uh-huh.
You could say that his tag team with Jannetty was similar to the Young Bucks in the way they were received.
And the Rock and Roll Express.
Correct. So, Shawn going out here and no-selling all of this only says one thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Shawn's still Shawn.
Shawn is still Shawn Michaels if you think he ain't.
And if they didn't want Shawn to do this, they should have invited Hunter.
Yeah. Hunter do the job.
Hunter would have walked out there and said to Randy when he got there, hey, man, good to see you. Why don't you learn to shut your mouth?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't like my product, you want to talk about AEW, go ahead.
Yeah.
If you don't like my product, shut your mouth. I've done enough for you.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? You should have been fired 25 times. Who you think stood in the way?
That only answer.
The son-in-law.
Yeah.
You know?
The dude's the son-in-law.
You know what I mean? Right. That's the only reason you're still here. You know what I mean? And so, but
Sean handles it old school. Sean's just going to make you look silly.
Right. If you didn't want Sean to make Hulk Hogan look like a guy that couldn't wrestle, and I can't believe we bothered to book this match, you shouldn't have put him in there with Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Right? Great
moments.
Yes. Sean gave you, and it was funny too because Sean came out the next Monday and said, basically, I went out there and played, and everybody here knows it's the best match Hulk Hogan's ever been in.
Yes.
And I was mocking that idiot.
Yeah.
I was mocking that idiot, and it's still the best thing he's ever done in the ring.
Yeah. Shades of William Regal and Goldberg.
Yes, exactly. Okay, what did you think? As nonsensical as all this was, I had a good time.
Oh, I had a good time with it. Yeah. There was a lot.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy how much. Now, let's get to something that Thunderdome gets announced and it's going to happen. We're going to have NBA style. The NBA had actually pulled back on the amount of fans because they thought it might be overwhelming.
Hold on. Let's reiterate this. Virtual fans.
Yes, virtual fans.
Not real life fans.
Right. The NBA
like real life fans
has been doing this since they started the bubble. Vince, of course, doesn't believe in minimalism.
Mm-mm.
So we have thousands of TV screens around, or
hundreds at least, yeah.
And I'm guessing it looked like the faces were popping in and out.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you paid a fee, you were put on TV, and you had 2 5-minute stretches where they were clicking you in and out.
Uh-huh.
And I can't imagine how many tickets they can sell that way.
A lot.
You know what I mean? And two, I don't know if you're in a rotation, so do you get to be back on? Because I think I saw people at multiple times.
Yeah. I'm sure I did.
So on a 3-hour show, they might be able to take 10,000 payments and rotate them all 7 times.
Yeah. Or you might be able to get, twice as many, people buy in as you would if you were just selling seats.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, absolutely. If it's a 10,000 seat arena, you can take 60,000.
Yeah, because I'm not limited by
payments.
Seats anymore.
And you don't have to charge anybody $40.
No.
Everybody's paying 100 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Right? Dang, Vince. I hear you, brother. Okay.
Make that money.
Ching.
Make that money.
Okay, so Vince McMahon, speaking of Vince, is in the ring. And he announces that we're going to get Thunderdome, and all of a sudden, The Fiend's music hits. And The Fiend entrance into Thunderdome is something.
Yes.
Teeth in the Roof.
Yes.
The works. The Firefly song with the orange code cover. He comes to the ring. As soon as you think him and Vince might go neck to neck, Braun's music hits, and Vince escapes during the cut-arounds. Braun comes, and it is a Fiend to Braun face-off. Looks like we may get something, and lo and behold, Retribution hits the ring, and there's a pause.
And a lot of growth.
And I'm thinking that this is fixing to go south for Retribution, and we're done with them.
Yeah.
This is what first thought in my head is, they're going to go in the ring, because Braun gave Fiend a look like, I'll take care of you later. Let's whoop these boys. That was the look I thought Braun was giving.
That's what he gave him.
And the Fiend waved at him. Goodbye. Lights go out. Fiend disappears. Retribution hits the ring. And again, I thought Braun is just going to overwhelm 20 guys here, like they've done with a million factions, with Braun Strowman or Goldberg or Brock or whatever. John Cena. I'm just too big and strong for all of these people.
Yeah, who are supposed to be professional fighters of some sort.
Big Show.
Yeah. Big Show's at least believable.
Right. But it didn't happen this time. They did overwhelm the champion. They beat him down. We had a wave of fighters come to
took 2 waves to get him out.
Yes. And so all of a sudden, Retribution has been legitimized in a way that we could not do for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Am I wrong about that?
I don't understand. Yeah, it just took why didn't they get to this the second or third time we saw these people?
Can I talk about something? And it was something I had a problem with. You don't notice it originally, but when you do notice it, and it was around when Braun Strowman's entrance music hit, they piped in the crowd noise, and that's all right if it wasn't the same noise over and over again. And once you notice it,
it gets stuck in your head. I can understand that.
Right.
You
but
can't.
You did point out that they did at some point begin to raise the volumes and lower the volumes and things like that.
Well, we can have 26 camera cuts, but we can only have one audio track.
Well, they changed that. But another thing is, one thing I've enjoyed about these no-fan shows is I get to hear the promos.
I get to hear the promos and I don't have to wait
So I didn't understand why pipe in crowd noise when Corey's interviewing Sasha later. Why pop in crowd? Why? Doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Also, the piped in crowd noise was produced terribly.
I have a feeling though too.
I mean, you gotta remember who's writing all this stuff. It's Vince McMahon. He's like, remember when you watched Three's Company? And Jack Ritter would do something, and there'd be a laugh track.
Right. So there has to be a boo when she says something. There has to be a hooray when he says something. I get it. Okay. Moving on. But I did feel like this was a great way to start out this show. And the whole locker room clears the ring eventually. The Miz is the last one to come out. There's a story we're telling here. As they try to pick up Braun, we continue with Braun's character as he has a changed man and he attacks the people helping him.
Yeah.
He storms away from everybody. This winds up with a Sheamus versus Big E match.
Yes, which was a banger, dude.
Okay, we did everything here.
Yeah.
We told the story. We set up Braun versus Fiend. We underlined that Retribution is formidable. And
made them formidable finally.
We showed the Miz out last, which is the red herring they're trying to give you right now. Whether or not it's true or not doesn't matter. And we've gotten into a match. We're not even 10 minutes in.
And this match
Raw
is tough.
Raw, 40 minutes in, we had one sort of match.
Mm-hmm.
This was less than 10 minutes in. We'd already told the tale.
This is why Raw should go to 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Or give me everybody on the roster every show.
Yeah, I don't understand why we have,
the problem I have with Raw is that sometimes by the last hour it tends to drag. But
that's because they're using 10 people instead of using 40 people.
And we're talking the first hour.
Yeah.
So you're tired by the time.
I'm tired of it. I'm bored with it.
Okay, this is a Bruiser Affair, this wrestling match. Sheamus and Big E. Bruiser Affair. Big E does one shoulder block in there that was rough.
Oh, right into the steel steps.
Eventually, Corbin and Riddle get into a brawl outside the ring, and Big E utilizes that for the roll up. We cut to commercial with a heavy dance of Odie, Big E, and Tucker,
which is kind of sets up Sheamus and Baron Corbin continuing to have problems.
Set up that for sure, and also Odie's the guy with the Money in the Bank, and he's dancing with Big E, who could be a potential champion.
Yeah.
Long term. You know what I mean? Okay, I mentioned the red herring with The Miz, and here's my theory on that. If they were to, I don't believe The Miz is the guy, but if they were to go with The Miz being the guy, I know Bubba Ray said the other day on his radio show, hey, why on earth would The Miz, of all people, be a guy that is pushing the envelope on a bunch of guys that feel like they've been overlooked when he's the consummate sports entertainer?
Yes.
And I didn't
Which is amazing because he used to be the consummate reality star. That's just cool that he's gotten that far.
Right,
I love this.
Absolutely. But I thought to myself, when I saw the chain of events and how they unfolded, I thought about the fact that the Fiend went into the Miz's house.
Yes.
Everybody's different. And the Miz was different from the good guy he was in this faction with not faction. He was on a good guy run when he gets into it with the Fiend and winds up going back to being the person he always was. More than likely than not, he's always been that person.
Yes.
Right? And this version of him is very, very fun. So if you put him in as this guy and his crew jumps the Fiend and keeps the belt on Braun, it explains the faction. You know, it explains why the Miz would feel like he sees that the Fiend is something that nobody else can overcome.
So he needs numbers. And he runs it through both factions. Because guys like Seth now with the Monday Night Messiah, guys like the Fiend,
why can't I be that guy that leads a show? Shouldn't I be?
Yeah.
I've been here the longest.
Yeah.
I'm the smartest. I'm that guy, whether you want me to be or not.
It's not up to you.
And I'll get these guys that at one, I was made fun of like them.
Yes.
I was the chick magnet.
Yes.
That people hated for years. I was those guys, and I made it to here, but now I'm going up, and I'm bringing them with me.
I like it.
That's the only thing I can think of. The only way it makes sense is if he attacks the Fiend.
Yes.
With his crew and keeps the belt on Braun.
Yes.
To keep the Fiend away from it because of what Fiend did with him and Maurice.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that makes sense. Okay.
But then you're going to end up burying the whole faction because, dude, Fiend's going to go through them like...
Well, they don't have to stay with that. That was the one purpose for that. And then he can, where you start's not where you finish.
True that.
True that. I mean? The Shield's jumping people, that's not where they finish.
No.
You know what I mean? Okay, so let's go back to, we wind up with a Lucha House Party versus Shinsuke and Cesaro. Shinsuke and Cesaro jumping backstage. It's good stuff. Good little, Grand Metalik almost killed himself, which was good for all of us.
Oh, my God.
He jumps over the rope from inside the ring, which puts him, he's probably 4 foot, and then he's got to jump over another 4 or 5 feet. So he's probably about 12 feet in the air, and he kind of misses Cesaro because trying to jump at an angle over the ring onto a human is hard. Mm-hmm. Also, while you're doing that, trying to do a flip with the person is probably semi-hard.
I maybe a little difficult.
He misses the person, though, and instead flips his head into the ground, which is ouch. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have to go ad-lib after that.
Modify the finish a
If
little.
they did, Cesaro is a wonderkin. He leaps, Sunset Flips, leaps over Shinsuke's body and Lindsay Dorado's, does the Sunset Flip. Then he comes out of that standing with Lindsay. Lindsay has to crawl around on top of him again. Eventually that turns into what looks to be some form of a destroyer. Instead, it turns into a slow roll-up for the 1-2-3 win. It was wonderful.
It was great. The whole ending to that match was, the last minute was just great.
AJ is dastardly after this. That's just it. Cesaro wins. AJ winds up being dastardly after this.
Wait. We did have the Lucha House Party teasing a breakup.
Oh, yes. Kalisto is not happy with them. And man,
they're losers.
Online, people were mad that who cares enough about the Lucha House Party to do this? And I'm thinking, first of all, don't we want storylines below? Isn't that the point? Isn't that what everybody's been mad about, is we only push the top couple of guys?
The internet's mad about everything. If you do one thing, they're going to be mad about another thing.
How could you tell me I'm going to get matches with Kalisto and Lindsay Dorado?
That's a great match, dude. Me bad about that?
Even if you're telling me we're doing this to set up a match on 205 Live and a feud on there. So what?
So what? Don't care. It's
great.
Match.
Put them on 205 Live.
Yes.
Put them on a pre-show, because what I don't want is that for 4 minutes. I want it for 15.
Yes.
I want to see them tear it up. You know what I mean? And they can do that. They're fantastic workers. Okay. And so anyway, we get replays to find out why Jeff Hardy's leg is injured. Jeff Hardy is supposed to be fighting AJ later in the night. He's getting a knee brace put on. AJ Styles, lo and behold, kicks Jeff in the knee when Jeff's trying to help fight off Retribution.
You mean that AJ made a mistake in the heat of the battle?
That's what AJ implied.
Yes.
That if Jeff had been fighting with the intensity he was fighting with, this would never could have happened.
Yes.
It's a little bit of a stretch. I like it, though.
You know who's used to stretch? Jeff Hardy after getting sneak kicked.
Yes. Mandy needs to believe in some good in the world, and Sonya Deville had in real life, Sonya Deville had a horrible incident. An invader came into her house and tried to kidnap her. She found her alarm went off. She lives with Mandy in real life. They are adversaries on television. She got Mandy out of Mandy's room. They both were very lucky. The invader went up the stairway when he thought Sonya had gone up the stairway, and she had not. She had gone into Mandy's room. Mandy and Sonya drove away, called the police, and this man has been arrested. Sonya was in court the other day pointing him out, and the man has no bail. He's not going to be released on bond because he can't be in the world and not being able to leave a city in which the person he's obsessed with is in is not the answer here.
No.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Flip that to television, everything winds up in the script. You can't hide it in today's world. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows Mandy was there. Some people were actually mad that they broke kayfabe.
Dude, this is...
Dude, are you kidding me? Who?
Get a life. Just
internet
stupid
trolls.
Just
right.
Are they?
Mandy wants to believe good in the world as we've written all this into the script. She's willing to drop the whole thing if Sonya is, and we go to the ring because it's boss time. Bayley Dose straps the boss. They enter the ring with Corey Graves, and we get a talk.
Finally, Corey has what he's wanted for 3 years now.
Yes. He's been trying to break these two up the whole time. And so they talk about the SummerSlam matchup and that Asuka probably has Bayley's number. And Naomi winds up coming down. They're trying to figure out who's going to go first.
And Sasha's like, "Oh, you already said you were going to go first." And Bayley's like, "Well, that was more of an idea than a commitment."
Right, and you're perfectly capable of being first. I wasn't trying to put you down by stealing your spotlight.
Yeah, if you really want to go first, you can.
Of course. Then Naomi comes down and challenges both. And Corey turns that into a beat the challenge.
Beat the clock challenge.
Beat the clock challenge, which means whoever pins the person first gets to, in this case, will go second in the two Asuka matches. And I thought this was well done. I appreciated it. And Naomi drop kicks them both to lead into the Sasha versus Naomi match.
Great neat promo from Naomi.
Yes. A quick 3-minute, 39-second match where Sasha gets the
bank
statement on her. She taps. Bayley attacks quickly.
Knees her in the head before the...
Oh, yeah. But Bayley winds up losing with the butt thing that Naomi does. 1, 2, 3. And Sasha seems incredibly happy.
Yeah, she was cracking up.
She did a great job of selling both. I'm trying not to look like I'm happy, but I am. And Naomi got to win over the world champ.
Yes.
WWE was, don't take this the wrong way, guys, but you guys put out there into the world, Naomi deserves better, and she just beat the world champ.
Yep.
And if Bayley were to retain, seeing as how Bayley's the one who Asuka seems to be getting the better of.
Yeah.
Bayley's the one who just lost to Naomi. Bayley's the one who shouldn't retain, so she probably does.
Yes.
If one or the other
If one
does.
is going to retain, yeah.
Asuka's the Raw champion. Asuka retains over Sasha, keeps the Raw belt. Bayley, if she does win, winds up in a program with Naomi. Right? And then maybe Naomi winds up being your champion, right?
Yeah.
Or, like we were saying, what we hope earlier is Asuka gets every belt, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's good. That's
one
good.
month.
Asuka comes out. She says she will be the emperor of every title, which was wonderful. Empress of every title. And then Sasha runs the ramp to attack Asuka, but gets dropped with a kick, which looks beautiful. Outside of the ring, Asuka goes into the ring, hits Bayley, who flees, selling her injury and not paying one bit of attention to her friend that is out cold on the walkway, striding over her body like Allen Iverson.
Yes.
Okay. Jeff is going to be this promo of the year.
Oh,
AJ wants a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest, but this one-legged man is going to be the Intercontinental Champion.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, boy.
He is so...
I did like the
he is so spicy mayonnaise, man.
The doctor... I did like the doctor saying, it looks kind of stable. If you think you can go, you can go.
Uh-huh.
That's...
You can deal with the pain.
Yes. Okay, and so here we go.
I once watched No Holds Barred 6 times in a row. I can handle it.
Sonya refuses the interview and slaps the taste out of Dana Brooke's mouth.
Blam!
Because Dana Brooke was disrespectfully telling her she's worried about her.
Yeah.
And Sonya says, nothing I can't handle, smack.
Uh-huh.
Which was awesome. Then she goes to the ring. Goes
in the baddest suit on the show.
Looks awesome. Dark burgundy, black shirt, black tie.
Dude, she's got
black
style.
hair. She is smooth, and she cuts the promo of her life. She's become the best talker in the women's division.
We've said again and again because she just
keeps getting better.
And I am so amazed by her.
Right.
If you asked me 6 months ago, she was, I thought she might be great in the ring, if they ever gave her a chance. But now I'm like, man, she might be a Hall of Famer if they actually give her a run. Dude, she is amazing.
I told you. I hope I'm okay. So what happens here is she says, everybody knows I don't care if I get my hair cut or not, if I'm bald or not. I can't stand your face. I don't want to look at you anymore. This is going to be a no holds barred match. Loser gets their hair cut and leaves the WWE. I'm assuming, we all assume, she probably needs some time off after the week. She's going to give them 3 shows. And then she's going to take some time off. I would hope that she takes some time off. They're supposed to have a rebranding coming up soon. She shows up. Because she said loser leaves WWE, to me that feels like we're going to put her on Wednesday nights.
That'd be great.
If you could let... Io right now on Wednesday nights isn't really a heel. Rhea Ripley isn't really a heel. Dakota's a pretty good heel. I like her a lot.
Mercedes Martinez and Michelle Gonzalez are both.
But if you stick her in there and give her the mic every week.
Yeah, nobody's a talker like her.
I would probably rebrand that thing to where she's going to be my champ and the show's going to be around her, and let her do that and try to build that brand and her at the same time until I move her to Raw or SmackDown. But I would... If Becky Lynch was the focal point of Raw, I would make her the focal point of NXT. Because I feel like she's got...
I think she should be the focal point wherever they do with her.
Right. But I don't think they'll do it if they put her in there with Bayley and Sasha. And you give her a show where you have 4 people that they have 5 or 6 years invested in.
Yes.
It'll be tough for that to happen. And with Becky coming back at some point, it'd be safer to stick her on NXT.
Oh, I agree. I think it's a much better play. It lets her work.
Also, NXT, you can...
She can have 15-minute matches with real wrestlers.
Yeah, and 5-10-minute promos.
Yeah.
She could sit down, put the headphone set on, and talk during the matches.
Yeah.
Do commentary on it. Give it a show. See if she can do it. I think she can.
I think she can.
Absolutely. Okay. Now we're going to move on because we have an Intercontinental Championship match. Hardy versus AJ. Man. Hardy sells in the injury the whole night. His whole career has been built around him selling injuries.
He's probably the best wrestler at selling injuries.
Maybe ever.
I can't name many.
I mean, as good as Sean was at it, he would switch legs on accident sometimes.
He
forgot a leg. Yeah, things like that.
But the 2, I mean, even now, the 2 slips that he did,
right,
and the one where AJ just caught him right in the leg, and oh man, it was just awful.
He has that wounded animal feel when he's hurt, but like you said, like he gets on the top rope and his leg won't support him, and he slips around up there and falls and manages to land perfectly flat, not hurting himself.
Yeah.
Who can do that?
I can't do that.
Who can do that? And
I fall down a lot.
To the point, as great as AJ is, and he is as good as anybody in the world, when he jumped over the ring and was supposed to fake an injury or fake the slip, you could see him land it and then fall.
Yes.
There was a moment where he's landing the move, which is fine.
Yeah.
And it was well done. It wasn't what Jeff did.
No.
You know what I mean?
Jeff's got that Chevy Chase fall, man. I can fall controlled.
Yes. He's so good. Okay, and so then we wind up. This is a really good... I hate matches where you're selling an injury the whole time. This was great.
Yeah.
And then AJ has him up for the Styles Clash. Jeff hits him with the knee brace in the head. Then he winds up with the Twist of Fate. Then he winds up with the Swanton. And we get a new... No way. We get a new Intercontinental Champion.
I did not see that coming.
I liked Jeff's little promo here at the end, even though they cut it off, because he did kind of say, it wasn't, I've won this now we worried earlier with the Sheamus stuff,
Mm-hmm.
where we're acting as if he's winning, therefore he's going to be able to maintain sobriety. No, that's not what he said. He said life's always going to be a struggle for me.
Yes.
He also said life's a struggle for all of us right now,
There you go.
alluding to why we have a Thunderdome
Yeah.
and people on TV instead of people in the audience.
If you're gonna do that character, he's as good a guy to do it with as any.
Absolutely,
Man, that's the one thing he does sell fairly well is an emotional response.
and it's who he is.
Yeah.
I fall, I try to get up. I fall again, I try to get up. I mean, artists are sensitive people, dude. And you may not like Jeff's music. I'm not a huge. I've heard a couple of. Wow. His painting is. I like his painting better than his music.
Yeah.
Blatantly. But you can tell he constantly wants to create.
Mm-hmm.
And those type of people feel things differently than others.
Yeah.
And that sometimes leads to substance abuse issues and things like
And
that.
life issues.
Of course. And so good for him. Then we wind up with AJ Styles chewing out Josh Parks backstage. Joseph Park backstage. Because
Analytics didn't help.
they did not help. And all that money he bought that tie, he bought that shirt and that stupid tie with, AJ was cheated against because of the
Outside, using a foreign object, dude.
so good. Right?
Yeah.
So good. Okay. Now we're going to move on because we are back in the Firefly Funhouse. Bray lets you know that love can be a terrible thing.
Love hurts. Love stinks.
Love hurts. Nazareth, love stinks. The Jay Giles band.
Yeah.
Either one.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Love tricks you into having an emotional, physical, and financial burden.
Yes.
Bray Wyatt, letting the children know
Yes.
what's out there for them.
Ex-husband Bray Wyatt.
Oh yeah. We do have a Shakespearean play starring Husky the pig,
Huskus.
and Rambling Rabbit, the puppets, but they go off script and begin to fall in love.
They're supposed to be Braun and
Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, and Huskus has a Get These Hooves t-shirt, which I desperately want now.
That needs to be produced.
That needs to be made.
Yes, and then we have
Huskus is a method actor, though, so yes, the love does.
At some point, he gets lost in Rambling Rabbit's eyes, causing him to go off script.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but Bray sees that this is not the exact story we were trying to tell, which was the story of last week where she slaps him. Bray tells them to get lost, and then Bray begins to go further into telling us about love. Don't fall in love. Be more like him.
Mm-hmm.
Be a being fueled by rage and anger, which is the advice most children need.
I think so.
And that turns into him smelling, looking around top
sniffing
of the
the
room,
air.
and wondering what took you so long.
What took you so long?
As Braun attacks him,
Yes.
drags him all around the building, beats him, throws him down through the, what was it that Cole?
It's a loading bay.
Cole
but
called it a tunnel. A tunnel.
Cole's never seen a loading bay before.
Yes, in the millionth arena Cole has entered.
Yeah.
Okay, so he does get thrown.
But Braun is very nice about it because he throws him into the exact one that has an ambulance already in it.
Correct. Clever. Because he knew if you're going to fight him later, you're going to need him to get medical attention quickly. Ambulance backs up. They put Bray into the ambulance as it goes to leave. Evidently, from my vantage point, the doorway to the arena had not been opened yet.
No. That wasn't going anywhere.
So they begin to back up. I believe that guy's name is Adam Pearce, who runs the show.
Yes.
He, Jamie Nobles,
Wondering why the heck this
Daivari?
Sanjay Dutt.
Sanjay Dutt are losing their minds because why would they be backing up? They're backing up because as we next see the red lights and smoke appear, door opens.
He borrowed that from Kane.
The Fiend is there. It was Kane's ambulance.
Yes.
Luckily. Evidently the Fiend has overwhelmed the two ambulance drivers, and now we're ready for SummerSlam.
Yes.
Are we fired up?
I'm fired up.
Okay, who wins at SummerSlam?
I'm gonna go. Oh man, I want the Fiend to win.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think somebody's going to interfere from the outside and give Braun the victory.
Bliss or Retribution or something.
Something's going to happen.
Right, because I feel like The Fiend is now the type of character that he's proven he doesn't need the belt to be what matters.
Yes.
He can be what matters because he's changing your roster.
Yeah.
Anytime you say, okay, I'm ready for this guy to no longer be babyface.
Uh-huh.
You know who he could get into it next with? Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to do that. You know what I mean? Or he could get into it with any babyface on your roster and turn that guy heel for you. John Morrison would be great.
Oh, man.
If The Miz winds up being the guy and then The Fiend were to jump, Morrison would go heel after that.
Yeah.
Or further heel. Darker.
Yeah.
Darker heel. You know what I mean? Instead of happy-go-lucky heel. You know what I mean? You could put him in anything with anybody on your roster. He doesn't need a belt to be effective. And probably the most important person on a roster is the heel that can do that because he's the guy to get your baby faces over. He's the guy that gets your he's the guy who builds your stars.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's that transitional storytelling that you need.
In a way, the least important person on the roster is the champ.
Yeah.
Because the champ should already be the marquee matchup. That should take care of itself. We're fighting over a belt.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton.
I'm going to go with Drew. I don't think they're going to take the belt off him that quick.
How does he lose?
Shawn Michaels super kicks Randy Orton into the Claymore.
All Shawn has to do is have his music hit.
And let's answer the question, though. Does he lose, or do they both get counted out like last year?
I hope not.
No, I don't think so. I think that something happens that distracts Randy. I think Edge comes back.
No.
Are you sure they wouldn't do that?
I'm not sure they would do it, but I think Edge winds up. Edge's music hits.
I like that one too. I like that one better.
It costs Randy, and that allows us to go back to that program, which never really got finished due to the injury.
Yes, I agree with that.
They have the second greatest match ever.
Okay.
Greatest match ever. Redo.
Part due.
Okay, Seth Dominic.
Dominic goes heel.
Dominic
Turns
has
on his
to win.
dad.
I think Dominic has to win. This is what I want. First of all, Seth has to lose. Does Seth know? Seth can win, and I get he wins. Where does he go if he wins? What do you put him into?
Program with Dominic.
Is it any different? Is it any different if he loses? You still put him into just something different. He builds it, makes it great, right? So he has to lose. The best move, which they won't do, but if one of them happens to be watching the WWE Network, there was a moment in time with Seth Rollins and The Shield. Seth had this incredible performance in a match against this group. You may have heard of them called Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And they had done away with all their competitors. The Shield had they had put justice into the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And Triple H comes out to the ring and says there's always a plan B. And there was always a plan B because Seth Rollins hit Roman Reigns and John Moxley, then Dean Ambrose, and becomes a heel. Dude, you have Seth lose, but Ray be the reason. Ray be the main focal point of the match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Dominic be the early focal point. Ray do a couple of big moves to get Dominic the win.
Mm-hmm.
You have Seth come out. Hey, I didn't understand what all this was. This is for the greater good. I commend you, Ray. I didn't know this was my plan, but there's always a plan B. And Dominic hits Ray with a kendo stick.
There you go.
Right?
I like it.
How good is that?
As long as Dominic hits Ray with a kendo stick, I'm
100% sure that doesn't happen. But how good is that?
I like it.
I got goosebumps just thinking of it. Oh my God. Okay, Sasha and all that. What do you think?
I'm going to go with my hope and dream on that one, too. I'm going to go Asuka wins both belts.
Both belts, and then at the next pay-per-view,
takes the tag team.
Apollo MVP.
Apollo.
Right.
I don't, man, that would be a... If he loses, it's because Cedric stabs him in the back.
MVP is another character who has no need for a belt.
No need for it. No.
Right. And you can do the Cedric stabbing Apollo
after he loses, after he wins the match.
It's Friday night after.
Yeah.
Or Monday night after.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What else we got? I think those are the main ones. We'll have more, but
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing.
Garza.
Oh, the tag team match.
Yeah.
I don't see any way Garza can win. They don't have enough heat right now. I mean, I like them. I'd like them to win, but I just see Ford and them. I think they're the tag team winners for a while.
Yeah. I kind of think that's true.
That'll be steady.
I would like to see Andrade and Angel Garza with the belt, but
yeah. Or have them lose, and when they rebrand, send Kalisto over there with them, and let's have an all heel faction of just stud wrestlers.
Yes.
Right.
Wait, Legado del Fantasma.
They absolutely. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to that, you'll have to check out the next pod. You had a good week of wrestling.
I did.
Awesome. Loved it myself. Loved it. For Go Home Heat, a sports entertainment podcast. This has been copyrighted 2020. Jushin, Ray, KP. Go home.